Welcome back to the podcast, and you will notice that we are not in our regular location.
We are not. We are on vacation.
We are on vacation at the lake, and I got lake hair, and I don't care.
So that even rhymes, right? We're at beautiful Lake Lure, North Carolina.
It is gorgeous.
Yes, this is our first time here. It's a great place to come. Just plug to them. Love Lake Lure. We're actually staying in a short-term rental, of course.
That we booked off of Verbo.
Yeah, this one came through Verbo, and in the background here, so we can't show you the house, but we're sitting out back, and you might see some wildlife. So this morning we saw some...
I got to see some deer.
You saw some deer. I wasn't up yet.
Some mama deer and a baby deer.
Yeah, and then later on, it was kind of comical actually, because we were inside and Wendy's like, I think these are peacocks. There's peacocks out here. And I was like, I don't think they're peacocks, but so we came out and they were wild turkeys.
Still cool.
Yeah, they were still cool. Still wildlife, right? And then we have to be conscientious in this part of the country because there are black bears. So if you put your trash out and it's not in a container that a bear can't get into, you might get bears. Yeah.
You can have a visitor at night.
Yeah, so you might see some wildlife. We do have a video version of the podcast, by the way. If you're listening to this on the audio, please come and check us out on YouTube, and you can see what we're talking about. But yeah, it's a special place, and we've been out on the lake all day.
Oh, so
swimming
nice.
And floating and tubing and doing all those great things.
And that's what we wanted to talk about today.
Yeah, like how do you do that? Right. When you have all of these units, and we got people checking in today, and we got people checking out today, and we've got potential problems that come up. And I want to say that's one of those things that, well, it's happened to us in the past where we've gone on, quote, vacation. And while it's great to say, I can run everything from my phone. Well, yeah, you can, but you really don't want to when you're on vacation, do you?
No, I do not.
Do you really want to be glued to your phone?
I haven't even looked at I don't even know where my phone is.
Right. And
it's glorious.
But I remember that. That's happened to us before.
Yes,
where
for sure.
Every time it buzzes,
you're like, oh my God.
Oh my God, I hope it's nothing bad.
Did something happen?
Right.
And
it's how do you get to the point where it's not so much an issue and you can actually go on vacation and actually enjoy it. Right?
Yes.
And not be glued to that phone. So that's what we want to kind of bring you today because it was very timely since we are on vacation. And there you go. So by the time you get done with this video, what we hope you will have gotten out of it is exactly how to do from our perspective and how we've been able to achieve that and how we coach other people to do the same thing so that when you go on vacation, you're truly on vacation.
It's glorious.
Glorious.
Yes. And I'm going to drink my drink.
It's because you can. Yes. So what was the first thing? We kind of had three topics that we wanted to go over.
Right. So
yeah.
So there were three things that we felt like were the most important things that we have in place that allow us to do things like that. And the very first one was team members. Right? Somebody else is doing the things, right? It's not us, right? So team members is one. The how to do the things.
How the team members do the things. Yeah.
Processes, right? What do they do?
And some of those are automated too.
They are. And then
there's a lot of automation in that piece. Yeah.
And we can talk about that. And then the systems, what tools do we use that allow the people to do the jobs, to do the things.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
Those were the three main things that allow us to
be out here vacation. In the mountains of North Carolina where, frankly, cell phone service is spotty.
It is.
We do have Wi-Fi at the short-term rental here.
Yes,
that's not bad.
Yeah, we were going to do this at the lake, but then we thought, well, I'm not sure there's really good Wi-Fi down there.
That's not what happened. She's lying to you. That is not what happened.
I just didn't feel like dragging all the stuff down.
That's what happened.
Really.
That's the truth. We got down to the beach
so true.
and we were floating around and we were like, you know what? We can always do this when we get back to the house. So we'll do the podcast when we get back.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah, but it would have been a great shot. Maybe we'll do some more short videos or something on where you can actually see the lake, because it really is a beautiful area.
That's
a good
idea. We should do that. So let's talk about the team members that we use. And you were talking about the team members are really broken down into two different categories.
They are, yeah.
So you've got the boots on the ground type people, and then you've got the virtual people, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about the boots on the ground type people. So we've got the two boots on the ground people are, of course, the cleaners, right? And then we also have the person called an operations specialist. That's the technical definition, right? But we call them our runner. And the runner also does quality control for us, right? So let's talk about the cleaners and the operations specialists.
Yeah, so the cleaners is the one that's obvious, because you have to clean every time something turns.
And it ain't me.
Yeah, every time there's a turnover, you have to clean, right? And I think one of the things that we see people do a lot is they put a lot on their cleaners.
Yeah, they make their cleaners do the linen, do the laundry in the unit.
Yeah, and that can be a thing. If you're, that was one of my things that I was like, you should not, if at all possible, be having your cleaners do laundry for a number of reasons. One of those is it takes longer.
It does.
And number two, you're cleaning it in a not commercial environment. And what I mean by that is the residential, washers and dryers that we have don't clean as well as, say, outsourcing that to a commercial linen service that has access to the types of, one, they can do more loads at a time.
That's true.
So it actually ends up being more efficient. And two, they have access to the types of cleaning products that you don't necessarily as a consumer.
That's true, because they wash and bleach with commercial grade washing and commercial grade bleach that regular people like us, we don't have access to those types of things.
Right, and some of that has to do with the temperature that's washed at, and not to mention that they have machines that fold it.
Oh man.
And
like genies.
Yeah, so it's a higher quality, if you will, type of laundry, and it helps you with your consistency and your quality control quite a bit. And not to mention, now your cleaners are freed up to be able to do more turns in a day. And that's one of those things that I think is particularly important when you start scaling, because it does take that's an hour.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to do laundry?
Oh, hours. To wash and dry, but at least 2 hours.
Okay, so that's 2 hours of time, and I know you have that 5-hour block, but they also have to clean. So how many turns can they actually do in a day? And so if you have a place, that's fine, but if you have 10 of them or 20 of them, that starts becoming an issue, and it becomes more of a efficiency thing, if nothing else, not to mention the quality, to start outsourcing that.
Well, another really good reason that we do that is to also have another set of eyes on the linens, because
it is
the cleaners, if they go to the cleaners and there's a stain on them, then the cleaners will, the laundromat, the commercial grade laundromat.
When you say go to the cleaners, you meant the linen service.
The linen service.
Gotcha.
When they go to the linen service, then there's a set of eyes on that stain there. They look for those things, right? And then once they get back to the cleaners, and the cleaners are putting them on the bed, that's another set of eyes on the linens too, and that goes for towels too, right?
Yeah, so that goes back to single point of failure.
Yeah.
On anything.
On anything.
Not only the job that they're doing, but that's another set of eyes on quality control.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a really good point.
Yep. Yeah.
So that is one of the things that we do. So So now you've introduced cleaners.
Cleaners. Wait, I got one more thing I want to say about that.
Okay, go for it.
So, and here's a little nugget for you.
Ooh.
We get 4 sets of linens for every unit that we have, and for every bed and for every bathroom. So I'm talking about if you've got a 1-bedroom place, then you need 4 sets of sheets, 4 sets of pillowcases, and 4 sets, we use duvet covers, right? Because they're a lot cheaper to clean than comforters, among other reasons. And then we have 4 sets of towels that we have per bathroom. And there's 2 sets of towels in the bathroom. So that's like, I mean, it's a lot of linens. There's a lot of linens. And we do that because there's 1 set on the bed. There's 1 set in the closet that is for guest use only, because we all know that people are leaky.
People are leaky. Right? Hashtag people are leaky.
Hashtag people are leaky.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes stuff happens, right? Especially when you serve children.
Yeah, that is one of our clients.
So it's really great. It's a really great guest experience when the baby wets the bed and there's an extra set of linens in the closet. So one on the bed, one on the bed, 1 in the closet for guest use only. 1 of them is dirty at the laundromat, and 1 of them is for, oops, somebody ripped our sheets, or
it's stained, or
used our sheets to stuff in the vent in the bathroom so they could smoke.
Oh, that's never happened.
Oh no, that's never happened to us.
Or it's a holiday.
Or it's a holiday and the laundromat's closed. Yes. But anyway, that's a little nugget that I wanted to drop in there for you.
Okay. Yeah. Extra nugget.
Yeah.
When you drop
so we got the cleaners, we got the laundromat, and so the other boots on the ground is what we call the runner, or the operations specialist, if you will.
And that's our person that goes to the unit when somebody needs to go to the unit that doesn't involve turnover. So it's the Wi-Fi doesn't work and I don't know how to reset the modem. Somebody has to go. It's we don't have enough toilet paper. Can you please bring some more? It's whatever it is. That happens all the time, that somebody needs to go for some reason that doesn't involve cleaning. And that ends up being a runner. Now in our houses, because we've mentioned in the past, we have single family houses, but we also have apartments. Now those run differently. In the single family houses, the process tends to be that the runner goes to every checkout. So not only do the cleaners come, but the runner's coming, and that person is actually bringing the clean linens. They're taking the dirty linens away. They're also doing inventory, and that person may be the person that's doing quality control for you as well, to say, did the cleaners do everything that they were supposed to do when they came?
Do we have enough cups? Do we have enough plates?
Yeah, well, that's
some of them get broken.
That's beyond cleaning.
Yeah, right.
Right. So it's also the other things, like you're supposed to have 12 plates.
Right.
But there's only 10 because the last people broke 2 of them and didn't tell you.
No, that never happened.
It came across the channel today. We didn't have to deal with it, but we see everything that's happening. The blinds were torn up at one of the places. Right. And the quality control person actually found that. The cleaners didn't miss it. I guess they missed it. They didn't say anything about it, but quality control came and found it.
It's nice
so
to
again,
have
it's that redundancy and having that other set of eyes, in addition to the cleaners clean, the runner runs, right, and the linen service does linens. Right. And so we have this separation of powers, if you will.
And they all overlap each other.
And they do overlap.
So because
you did say that. It's an additional set of eyes.
More eyes on it, the better. So on the cleaning checklist, and we do have a cleaning checklist, and we'll talk about this in just a second, but there are things that are on the cleaning checklist that are also on the operations specialist checklist too, because those are really important things that a lot of people miss.
Right, so that's quality control. You're talking about the cleaners come and clean, and well, I shouldn't say of course, but if you don't, they should have a checklist, and a very detailed one that goes beyond clean the living room, or clean the bathroom.
Right.
Well, obviously,
right.
but you need very specific instructions.
Right.
So every room has 10 to 20 different things that you actually need to do.
Yep.
Like dust the ceiling fan,
yep.
do the blinds. This is exactly how many towels go on the rack.
Yep.
And that kind of thing. And then the quality control person is actually coming behind them with that exact same list to say, did this get done? Did this get done?
Right.
Did this get done? And then that becomes a very objective way to provide feedback.
Right.
If something did not get done,
right.
or, you know, they just missed it for whatever reason, it's very, we like objective versus subjective, right? So we'd rather have someone say, hey, item 6 on the list in the bathroom wasn't completed, rather than you didn't clean well.
Right.
Because that's a very vague thing to say.
Right.
And frankly, if it's not on our list and a cleaner doesn't do it, that's our problem.
That's our problem. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so it's imperative that we have detailed lists.
And you know, that is something.
And then we have quality control go through that list.
That is something that we've had to refine over the years.
Yeah, and
our checklist, our cleaning checklist did not start out that way. It was not comprehensive, but that's what had to happen. Was every time something happened, you know, a guest found something, then we put it on the cleaning checklist, and then we told our cleaners. And another thing, and here's another nugget for you, you have to train your cleaners.
Oh yeah.
You cannot get somebody from Turnover B&B or Properly or wherever they came from and expect them to know how to clean your place.
Your place.
Your place, because it is your place. And first of all, it's your responsibility to have a checklist, because if you don't have a checklist, then they don't know exactly what to do.
Yeah, and it's their responsibility to follow it.
Yes, it is their responsibility. That's an agreement.
And then it's our responsibility to make sure that was done.
Yes.
But it's not fair to them.
It isn't. It is
if
not fair to them.
If they did not do something and it wasn't on your checklist, that's on you.
Yes. And we
it's on us.
Always train our cleaners to, the first 3 times they clean for us, we have the quality control person go behind them.
Yes.
And they always say, you know, this section 6B, you know, was they didn't put a hand towel on the hand towel ring in the downstairs bathroom or whatever, right? And then they take a picture of it, and that gets sent to the cleaner, and then the cleaner, you know, either has to go back and fix it, or
do better next
time, right?
Yeah.
But if it is your responsibility as an operator to, number 1, have a checklist, and number 2, to train the cleaner to clean exactly the way that you want them to clean.
Yeah, and then quality control becomes accountability.
Yeah, accountability.
You need to build accountability.
Must.
And again, it's one of those, there's no single point of failure, right?
You must.
So I think that's important.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this next. How does it work when the quality control person, for example, found the blinds that were messed up in one of the houses?
So I think you're moving to the other.
Yeah, I'm moving to the.
Okay, because we said there were 2. We talked a lot about the boots on the ground.
Yeah, so let's talk about the virtual now. So now that we've talked about the cleaners and the operations specialist and the quality control and the laundromat, now how does that information get fixed, right? What do they do with that information?
Yeah, hopefully they're not texting you.
No, they're not texting me. They're not. They used to.
Because that wouldn't mess up your vacation a little bit.
They used to text me.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen anymore. What happens now is we use a process, right, and a system that we'll talk about that in just a second. But
I don't know if we're going to get to that, but go for it.
The virtual assistant or the operations or the customer experience specialist.
Yeah, I don't like calling them virtual assistants. Everybody does, but they're not. That's really something different.
It's really customer service.
It's a job. It's customer service, and it just so happens that job does not have a physical location.
Right. So she doesn't have to. This person doesn't have to be
right.
here.
So you're really not looking for virtual assistants.
No. No, you're...
Because virtual assistance is something else.
It is.
It's like, okay, I have tasks need done.
Yeah.
And I have a virtual assistant that helps me with it. That's not what this is.
So much more than that.
This is remote work.
Yes.
It's somebody that works remotely because those jobs don't need to be on site. Right? So here's a bunch of things that don't need to be on site. Responding to a guest through the app, responding to a guest via text, taking a phone call from a guest, for example, contacting a maintenance person to go fix those blinds that the quality control found or the cleaners found. Right? There's lots of things that do not involve I have to be physically there.
Well, they're more of like the middleman, right? They're actually the glue that holds this business together.
Yeah, and that's the person you don't want to be. I think a lot of people, that's what they're...
I don't want to be that person anymore.
I don't know if I said this in the beginning, but it was like, okay, I can work anywhere because I can do it off my phone, but you've just given yourself a role in the business.
Yeah, now you're working in your business.
You're a customer experience specialist is what you actually are.
Yeah, you've
and
created
you're working
a job
that
for
job.
yourself.
So you need to put somebody else in that job. Yeah. And the whole point is they don't have to be on the ground.
And I know somebody's out there saying, well, I can't afford that.
Oh, yeah, that comes
I know somebody out there is saying that. And let me tell you, you can't afford not to have this person.
That's correct.
Because guess who checks the cameras when guests check in and finds out if there are extra guests that check in that aren't stated on the reservation.
Or they bring a pet and they're not supposed to.
Yes, and guess what? We charge for that.
Yeah.
And now she's just paid for herself.
Yeah. So your customer experience team ends up paying for themselves. Really, they do.
They really do.
They really do.
We thought that too.
From the things they find.
We did.
And it's not only the fine side. It's not only, hey, you brought a pet and you weren't supposed to and now you owe us $200. There is that. But there's also okay, somebody reported the blinds needed to be fixed. Or what happened the other day that would have been a bigger deal, like the water was off.
Oh yeah, that's right.
At one of the apartments, the water didn't work in one of the bathrooms. And that's one of those things that, hey, we're on vacation, we might not catch it, and then nobody called maintenance, and then your guest shows up, and now they have a bad experience. And they leave you a bad review, and how much did that cost you?
Oh.
Over time.
Oh my. You just hit a big one.
So it's not only those hard costs, but it's those soft costs that you feel like aren't really costs, but they are.
Yeah.
That hurt you over the long run, where if you just had somebody there to respond, you could have headed that off before it was even an issue. Yeah, go for it.
What if the air conditioner stops working?
Yeah, that happens here in the South a lot.
All the time.
Or heat, if it's the winter time.
Right. And there's nobody to check the temperature, because we have
that's one of our processes,
a system for this and a process for this, right? The temperature inside the unit is comparable or is comfortable depending on the temperature, outside, right? So it's summertime right now. And it's really hot outside, especially here in the South. And the temperature inside needs to be about, 68, 70 degrees is normal for this time of year. But sometimes it's 90, 95 degrees outside. And if the temperature inside is like 85 degrees, that's a problem. And something's going on with the HVAC that you should probably get somebody to come check out before the next guest checks in at 4 o'clock.
Right. And the worst thing you can have happen is the guest shows up and they're the one telling you that there's a problem with the unit. And that's one of those things that your cleaners may have missed just because it did not happen until they left.
Oh, that's interesting.
So once a day and before check-in, one of our procedures is, and this is part of the systems that we have because we can do that. We can see the thermostats remotely. Does the inside temperature match what the thermostat is set to?
Yep.
So if the thermostat in the summer is set to 72 degrees Fahrenheit and the actual inside temperature is 85, problem is probably happening.
Yep.
Right? Or it could just be the opposite, that the last guest set it to 85.
Or turned it off completely.
Or turned it off completely, which happened to us recently.
It did. Like, who does that?
And then the guests show up and it's hot in there and they're like, why didn't you?
Right.
Why is the air not on?
And we can, because of the systems and processes we've got in place, we can turn that on remotely.
Yeah.
So
I think we've dropped enough nuggets on that one.
I think we've talked. We may have to continue this. We may have to do a part 2.
We may have to do a part 2.
We may even have to do a part 3.
Yeah. So what were the next 2 that we were going to cover, and we'll decide?
So we did the team members first, and then we have the systems. No, then we have the processes, and then we have the systems still.
Right. So I don't think we kind of touched on some of them.
A little bit, but we've got so much more to talk about there.
Okay. So maybe we should break this into 3.
Oh, that's good.
So we've talked about the team members that you need, and why it's so important to have them, because remember, this is a team sport. And again, you're building a business here.
Yep. That you don't want to have to work in.
Yeah, especially when you're on vacation.
Isn't that a whole reason that you're building a business?
It really
so that it can allow you to go on vacation like this?
I mean, all this time and investment and money that you put into your short-term rentals, don't become a slave to them.
Yes.
So and it's very apparent when you're here at Lake Lure and you're just trying to swim.
Right.
And you're thinking, I got to go into shore and see if my phone's ring.
And have
that's horrible.
Lake care and not care.
Lake care and not care. That might be the title of this episode. I'm not sure.
I got lake here and I don't care.
I got lake here and I don't care.
But we do hope that you found a lot of value in this episode. We dropped a lot of nuggets and we dropped a lot of information on you. And if you did find value on it, like and subscribe to the channel and stay tuned, because we will be doing a part 2, because we've got so much more to talk about this. And I think that this topic is the whole reason that people start a short-term rental or any business to begin with.
Yeah, it's time freedom.
Yes.
It's freedom of time.
It's freedom of time.
And that's really what this episode was about, is how to start getting that time back, how to start getting that freedom back. Yep. Again, check us out on YouTube. I don't know if anybody saw Bear back there behind us. I hope not, because that means there won't be a part 2 probably. but I don't think so.
No, probably not until tonight.
Yeah, they tend to come out at night.
And we've got a fire pit, and we're going to have some s'mores tonight.
We are, and we're not going to worry about...
The kids are going to burn their marshmallows like they always do.
Yeah, they like them burnt. But we're not going to have to worry about guests that are complaining and nobody's responding to them. Or
they may complain, but it won't be us that has to deal with it.
Yes, and it will get done in a timely manner, and
that's right.
All those good things.
So stay tuned for the next exciting episode of part 2, and we will talk about more systems and processes, and we'll get really nitty-gritty here, because I think that a lot of people say, yeah, go set up these systems and set up these processes, but nobody really tells you how.
Yeah, and that's why we have the course too. So
that's true.
That's one of the things. So if you're interested in that.
Oh yes, the course has it all.
But definitely like and follow.
And we'll see you next time.
On to the next.
On to the next.